dissociated press.
Dame, in that third quarter, you guys had tied it up at one point. What happened after you got that? I think it was a three. You tied it up, and then it seemed like the wheels just kind of came off. What happened from your point of view?
We couldn't get stops. I think when we were able to get stops and push the ball at them without taking it out the net, we had a lot more success on offensive end. And defensively, we were talking about keeping them out of transition. They like to play fast and they like to get up threes. And when we were successful at doing that, we had control of the game. And I think in that third quarter, we had some slippage, guys getting behind us in transition, losing sight of our man. Gave up a few second opportunities, and aside from that, they got every call. That's not the only thing, but our mistakes on top of them, they basically lived at the free throw line for a long stretch in that third quarter. I think it was like they had shot like 15 free throws to our 3 or something like that at one point in that third. And, we were fouling. We weren't communicating. We, just weren't executing our defensive game plan in that third quarter, and it just got away from us. And in the fourth quarter, it pretty much just continued.
Dwight James, NBC Sports Northwest.
Dame, you have a technical foul in each of the last 2 games. Is that a gauge of your overall frustration?
I think both texts that I got was, about them not blowing the whistle. I think even if you look at the numbers, of how often I go to the rim compared to, the rest of the league, if you look at how often I drive to the basket and I'm in the paint, it's up there at the top. I'm pretty sure I'm top 5 in the league at drives to the rim. And the percentage of time that I get a foul call based on how many times I go to the paint is at the bottom, and that's a fact by the numbers. And, with teams defending me the way they are, face guarding me, trapping me, trying to be physical, helping, it just don't add up that, I could be attacking the way that I attack and teams defending me the way they defend me. And it's just, the whistle doesn't, just don't get the whistle, and I'm not a flopper. I play the game straight up, and it's frustrating. So, I think everybody knows I'm not a player that's just out here getting checks. I think in my career in the season, 5 might be the most I've ever gotten a season. It can't be, if it's more than that, it might be 6. And I'm a person that after the game, I go watch the game, and sometimes I'll come away from it saying, I was wrong about that. And, more times than not, what I felt and what I was frustrated about, I was accurate, in thinking that I was fouled. So the last 2 games, I've gotten a lot of attention from the opposing teams, and just haven't got the whistle, in instances where I felt like it wasn't that difficult to see. And I said something, and they just didn't like the way it came out, and I'm fine with that.
Jason Quick, The Athletic.
Hey, Dame, we all know your guys' defensive numbers, but also your guys' record against the top teams in the West is not good either. I mean, it's not a pretty picture right now when you take a broad look at you guys. Where do you see your guys, and how do you get out of this?
I think I've said it already. It's one of our best years of winning the games that we feel like we're supposed to win. And when we play against the top level teams, we don't play well. We get put away. I think at Phoenix, we got put away. Tonight, we got put away. At Denver, we got put away. Milwaukee at home, got put away. Against the Clippers, got put away. I mean, it's not like it's a small sample size. It's it's what happens when we play against the better teams, where you have to be consistent. You got to be able to sustain a certain level of focus, and you got to be sharp. Physically, mentally, you got to be present. You got to be ready to go, because these teams are top level teams, and those are the teams that we're trying to be next to. We're trying to be in that same bubble of teams. And we just haven't, when those games have come, we just haven't shown that, that we're that level of a team. You know, we're capable of it. I think, you know, all y'all know that I always say it, I'm the most optimistic. You know, I'm the biggest believer, but it comes a time where when you get on the floor, you got to do it, and you got to show that, you know, you're that level of a team, and we just haven't shown it when those matchups have come. And that's where the growth, and that's, you know, where we got to, you know, make some strides in that area.
Agent McCord, Coin.
I mean,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jason.
I was just going to say, I mean, that's some concerning stuff. There's 21 games left in this season, and we're talking like that, you know.
I mean, that's just the
I guess
truth.
what's the way out of this? I know it.
I mean,
Yeah.
You got to look in the mirror. You got to look in the mirror, and you got to, you know, you got to look at it. You got to look at the games that we've won. You got to look at the games that we struggled in, and the games that we struggled in have been against the top level competition. You know, I don't think it's hard to see. I'm not saying nothing that's not obvious. And
yeah,
I think for us, the first step is acknowledging the fact that that's just the truth, and you know, just being sharp and being locked in, and just taking that to heart. You know, having some pride about that. That fact that we don't play well against the top level teams. We got to take that to heart. We got to have something to prove, you know, have some pride about those games. And I think that's the start. You know, that's how you start to dig yourself out of those type of performances against the better teams.
AJ, go ahead.
Thanks. So Dame, I know you are somebody who watches the game back 2, 3, 4 times. It seems like that third quarter is where things consistently, it's like one thing goes wrong and then it just avalanches. What are you seeing, or what's happening on the floor in the third quarter that makes one mistake turn into sort of a domino effect more often than not in these games that you guys really struggle defensively against the better teams?
I don't think it's one thing. You know, I don't think I could look at tonight and say it was the same thing as last game. Like tonight, I thought in the first half we controlled, you know, keeping them out of transition. You know, they weren't killing us from the three-point line, and we know that they're the only team in the league that shoots more threes than us. And we knew coming in, if we limit that, you know, keep them out of transition, make them play more in the half court, you know, we're going to have a pretty good chance. And I think that's why we went into the half with the lead. And, you know, we come out in the second half and we just weren't able to sustain that focus, you know, and doing the job that we did in the first half. And the best teams, they sustain it, you know, the same energy and the same effort and focus and sharpness that they have in that first half. You know, even if they have a dip or a lull, you know, it might be a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes. It's not a full quarter. And for us, we have those stretches where it lasts too long. And, you know, when it lasts 8, 9 minutes, 10 minutes, and, you know, the third quarter, the second half of the game, you get to the point where it's like we got, you know, we down 18, 19, which is not a lot in this league. But when you're not playing well, you're not playing the way you need to play to have a chance, it's you know, it might as well be 30 and you only got 12 minutes left, you know, one quarter. So we just didn't sustain what we did in the first half. And I think that's the one common thing in, you know, all of these games where the third quarter kills us is like, we'll be doing just fine, you know, the first half, and sustaining it is where the issue is. And, you know, we just haven't been consistent enough. We haven't been able to hold it to that level for long enough throughout games. And against the best teams, that's going to kill you. So I think that's the one thing that I could probably point to that's been an issue for us.
Aaron Fentress, the Oregonian.
Damian, Nurkic is back, but he's not 100% back. He's not all the way back. He's still on a minutes restriction. Is there hope that if he can get to 32, 33 minutes per game, that can help maybe bring some more cohesiveness, especially on the defensive end?
I mean, I would hope so. You know, he's missed a lot of time, so we know that he's a big guy. You know, he's had some lower extremity injuries. And it takes time to get yourself back in shape. is on a minute restriction. So, you know, finding rhythm on the minute restriction is tough. While you work your way back into shape, you know, from not playing in so long and, you know, being such a big person, it's tough. So, you know, we gotta give him time, and, you know, that takes time. We can't expect him to come back from missing so much time and just, you know, snap right into it. But I think not just him, you know, bringing Norm in, CJ coming back after missing so much time, you know, it takes time for everything to start to click when you got so many moving parts, you know, guys that weren't around and weren't on the floor, back on the floor, and you got to try to make it work. And, you know, we're just taking some time figuring that out, you know, as far as being cohesive and on the same page with everything. It's just taking time. And, you know, we just, I think against the top teams, it's a little bit harder, but, you know, that's where we are.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to have to wrap it there. Thanks, Dame.